Hello, and welcome to the 10th episode of the Practical PM, your friend, philosopher, and guide to product management. Like the previous episodes, we will continue learning about event analytics in this episode as well, and we will continue to use Mixpanel for the demo. So let me switch to the Mixpanel screen now. In the previous episodes, you would remember that we went over insights reports in Mixpanel, and then we went over the very important funnel reports. In this episode, we will move to the retention reports. Retention, you would recall, is one of the very important metrics for the success of the product. In Mixpanel, there are two kinds of reports provided for measuring retention. One is simply called retention right here, and the other tab here gives frequency report. We will go over both of them, and they can be useful in different circumstances depending on the product in question as well as the specific question you're trying to answer. How does the retention report work? So this works by taking into account two events in the system, each representing a specific action. And what this report shows is that the first event you select here, it takes all the people who did that event, and then it shows over different periods of time how many of them came back and did the second event. Let's take an example. Suppose we want to see that all the people who were acquired on the product, how many of them came back and actually placed an order over different periods of time, what was their retention like. So I will select the first event as account created. This I must remind you is supposed to be an e-commerce product, and we have some sample data here that we are using. Account created is fired when people sign up. So this is your acquisition event. And then complete purchase is the event that is fired when people place an order. Here I will use end day retention. I will explain these two different settings here later in the episode. Then I will come down like other reports. I can select the period here. I will go to 3 months, right? And here I can select over what period I want to see the retention, day on day retention, week on week retention, or month on month retention. For the purpose of this demo, I will select week on week retention here. Then I will come down to this table report because this is something I find easier to read. So how to read this? You would recall that this data is until March 31st. So when I've selected 3 months, it's starting from December 30th week. I have selected to see week on week retention. So each row is representing 1 week, right? Now this row here represents the week of December 30th to January 5th, in which this first column, total users, is the number of people who did the first event, which in this case is account creation. So many people were acquired. They came and created an account on the product in this week. All right. Now the next set of columns represent the actions that were done with the second event, which in this case is complete purchase, that is placing an order. So this here is less than 1 week. What this tells me is 91.18% of the people, of these 13.3K people, came back and placed an order within 1 week of the first event, within 1 week of the sign up. So that's why less than 1 week here. 64% of these people placed an order in week 1, which is after the first week of acquisition. In the next week, it was 62.98%, 66.49%, and so on. So if you look at this week on week report, you can look at the retention in terms of placing the order of the acquisition cohorts. Each of these weeks is when they were acquired. So each of these weeks can be considered acquisition cohorts. And you see how they were retained over the long term. Now this is a sample data, and like we have seen in earlier reports, the numbers here look pretty good, although they do seem to go up and down. In these weeks, for some reason, retention was bad, but it shot up again in the next week here. Right. And similarly, each row represents the different period. This row represents people who were acquired between January 6th and 12th. Of these 11.9K people, 88.4% of them placed an order within a week, 58.61% in next week, and so on. Remember that each of these columns represents relative period. So when we say week 1 here, this is relative to when the first event occurred, in this case when they were acquired. In terms of calendar weeks, each of these is different. If you want to look at the same calendar week, the place to look at are these boxes along the diagonal lines. So all the boxes along any diagonal line is same calendar week. One more thing to remember when you are reading a report like this is you see these white boxes with the star next to the numbers there. These are basically the periods for which data is not complete. Since this data is until March 31st, for people who joined in the week of March 16th to March 22nd, week 1 is not complete for all of them, specifically people, for example, who joined on March 22nd or a couple of days earlier, right? This will complete on April 5th. So until then, this number is not final, it will change, right? So this is not a mature number. Remember that while reading this. Okay, now let me come up and explore a few other things. Here I had selected two different events because I wanted to see what happens to the people who were acquired in a certain period. There are different kinds of retention I can check. For example, I can actually select the same event, and that event can be the event associated with North Star metric here, which is complete purchase. So what this report now will show me, all the people who do a purchase in a particular period, over the next set of periods, how many of them come back and make a purchase again. What will a report like this tell me? It will typically tell me how good is the experience of purchase in a particular period. Because if they had good experience of making this purchase, then they are more likely to come back and place order in the subsequent periods, right? So here if I go down, the table needs to be read a little differently now. Now in this week, these 14.9k people were not the people who were acquired, but they were people who placed at least one order in this period. And then you can see that within the same week, 67.66% of them came back and placed another order. 62% placed an order in the next week. So overall, the numbers look pretty good here also. Again, there are ups and downs which you may want to investigate. And if overall, right, this number is low in the subsequent weeks, then your retention may be poor and you may want to see what you want to do about it. If, for example, this number is poor for a particular cohort, for example, you see suddenly here, the week 1 retention is down at 49.56% compared to other cohorts here. Even the week 1 retention was low. So you may want to see that all these 26.8k people who placed an order in this week, was there something wrong with the experience here? We do see a sudden jump in number of orders. Did our operations not handle all the orders well? Were they not delivered in time? What went wrong here that these people did not come and place orders as frequently as some of these other cohorts did, right? So this is your retention. The one setting here which we had left for later is this end day retention versus unbounded retention. When you select end day retention, the retention number you see is exactly for this period. So this 62.73% here is exactly for week 1, that is after 7 days of the first event and within 14 days of that event. If you instead selected unbounded retention, then this number becomes this period or later. So number obviously increases. Basically now this says 87.23% of these people came back and placed in order in week 1 or in week 2 or in week 3 or at any point of time after that. So this is like a cumulative number here. This 86.35% here is part of this 87.23% here. Basically, in some cases, it may not matter whether they keep on placing order week after week, whether they keep on doing the event week after week. But what may matter is that they at all came back after week 1 or they at all came back after week 2. If that is the number that is important, then you may want to use the unbounded retention here. Most of the time I have used end day retention, but this can have its uses. Now, before moving to the frequency report, there is one more thing I want to point out here, that we have been using complete purchase as the primary event whose retention we want to track, but this can actually be done for any event. So we can use it for what is called judging the feature retention. For example, in this e-commerce platform, there is a feature which lets people share a product in their social network. And when they do that, share item is the event that goes. So now if we want to see whether share item is an event that gives any value to people at all, what you may want to check is whether once people have used this feature, and which means they are now familiar with it, do they come back and use the feature again or not? And this can be done pretty much for any feature. A new feature you have launched, you may want to see whether the feature retention is good or not, right? So in this case, what we see is Here also the feature retention is actually fairly good, but then there is opportunity, like why are more people not coming back and sharing items? Is there something wrong? Is it not really as useful as you thought? Those are the things you may want to answer if the number goes down over time, or if even the initial week's numbers is not good. Here it is decent, even if not like very high at 80% or something, right? Now let us move to the second report, which is frequency report. Here, we can again measure retention, but with a different kind of number. What frequency report shows is you can select any action here, any event, and I will select non-cumulative frequency for now, explain the other one later. And over a period, 3 months is what I'm choosing. Then the time period over which you want to see the frequency can be selected here. So if you select week or month, what it shows is how many days in the week or month this event was done by people, what percentage of people essentially. So let's read this table again. What this says is we had selected chair item as the event. So 13.5K users did this event in this week, January 2nd to January 8th. Right? They did it at least once. Of these, 24% people did it 2 days in this week. 14% did it 3 days in this week, and so on. Now, for this example, this kind of report may not make much sense, but think of a different kind of product. Suppose you are a product that provides content, right? So you probably expect people to come back day after day and consume content. If it is a news site, for example, you expect people to come back every day. So in that case, you would want to see that most people are actually coming 5, 6 or 7 days a week and doing an event, let's say reading an article or watching a video, right? And if that is not the case, if people are coming for very few days, then you probably have a problem, right? Here, if instead of week or month, you had selected days, then you would see this frequency on an hourly basis. Now here it makes absolute no sense. In case of e-commerce, it's all 0, because obviously there is pretty much nothing that people keep doing hour after hour here. But again, suppose you are a gaming product, you're managing a gaming product. Now in a gaming product, when people come, they are expected to spend several hours playing games. That's kind of the nature of the gaming product, and that's kind of the bread and butter. Without that, it will not be a very successful game, right? So you would see like many people spending 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours on this platform on any day, right? And if that is not the case, then they need to figure out what is wrong and how they can make a better game. Cumulative and non-cumulative again works in a similar way as in the previous report. If instead of non-cumulative I had selected cumulative, then this number becomes that much or more. I'll shift to week and day for it to make any sense in this case, right? So now it is not saying that so many people came back and did this event exactly 2 days in the week. It says 2 days or more. So it can be 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, and so on. Once again, like depending on what is more important, you can choose cumulative or non-cumulative frequency here. That is all we will cover in this episode. Like other reports, even here we have these filters and breakdowns, which we will come back to from the next episode, in fact, because in the next episode we will learn about the properties of events as well as users in the system, which can provide us even more insights coming from the same reports. Thank you so much for watching. Do tune into the next episodes as well.